did you build your network? And how do you recommend that others do the same, especially when it comes to the funding relationships? Because in my mind, I'm thinking you have relationships that can connect you and put you in rooms, right? But then when you're building relationships around potentially funding a business, what is that? Is that different? Is the relationship building different, or is it the same? Is it the same across the board with anyone that you're kind of building relationships with? So two-folded question there, but I'd love to close out on this.
Yeah, so for me, I know how when I worked for the travel company, they will always tell us, like with selling, like always go deep instead of wide. And so that's how I build relationships. Like I make sure I get about 5 to 7 people, and I make sure that I continue to provide value to them and always check in, making sure like, hey, I saw that you posted this on LinkedIn. I really resonated. We'll love to talk to you more about that. Because most of my relationships, they come from like 5 years ago. And again, pre-COVID, when I was going to a lot of networking events, I think I met you pre-COVID technically, but we never like met in person.
Right.
Crazy.
Yes.
But again, it stems from the relationships that I built 5, 6 years ago, that it's deep to the point where it's like, it doesn't matter who I build with in the next 5 years. I can always go to that person, or that person can always think of me. Like when it comes to like NIL and entrepreneurship, they're like, oh, Krystal, like 2 or 3 years later, like I reconnected with someone that I haven't talked to in about 2 or 3 years, but because we have a really good relationship from years ago, they were like, okay, Krystal would be a perfect person for this, which is how I ended up speaking at the Senate hearing like in 2020 around like NIL, is because of that relationship. And so I'm not a fan of getting connected to any and everybody, because sometimes it's not worth it, and it's also sometimes superficial, and everything is like just on the surface. I'm more of a deep, like understanding who you are, how you do it, how I can help, and how I can continue to help you from years to come. And that way, I truly believe that there are 6 degrees of separation anywhere. And I believe that my current network can touch anybody and everybody at this point.